Hi, I'm Mark Small. This is Civil Discourse Now. It is November 5th, 2022. The election is day after tomorrow, isn't it? No, 3 days after tomorrow. It's Tuesday. This is Saturday. A lot of people are uptight, and a lot of people are talking about how they have to enforce the right to vote, meaning protecting the right to vote somehow by taking guns into polling sites. Now, what are they going to do by having guns there? It's not like they throw off some kind of radiation. They're taking guns to the polling sites so they intimidate people and scare them away. And the people who do that are cowards, because it really doesn't take a lot of bravery to pick up a gun, strap it on your belt, and go parading in someplace, say, yeah, I'm going to enforce the law here. Instead, we have to look at what effect do guns have on the society and our culture. For one thing, we didn't get freedom by private individual right to keep and bear arms. When people had firearms for the Revolutionary War, they had them because there were long guns. There were very few handguns around, but a lot of instances involved people who were members of militias. And it wasn't like the idiots running around calling themselves militias today. These were part of the state. And so it wasn't an individual right to keep and bear arms that won us liberty. And those people who were carrying arms at that point, who were in militias, once the United States Constitution was ratified, a lot of those militias, especially in the South, were enforcing slavery. They're trying to track down runaway slaves. Well, who would have the gall to run away as being a slave? Why, they don't realize what this system is. It's liberty. And that's part of the problem. We've had a contradiction at the foundation of this country. Now, my opponent in Tuesday's general election in Indiana House District 86 is Ed Delaney. I'm a Republican. Ed is a member of the Democratic Party. He's the incumbent. He said something this past week when we had a conversation between opponents about guns. And I said, we need to have more studies to determine the impact that guns have on health. They look upon it as a hazard to us, a hazard to our health, a risk. And he said, no, all the studies are done. We know that they really are counterproductive. And that's not true. We haven't had studies, peer-reviewed studies sponsored by CDC since the mid-1990s. I'm fairly sure that those studies are going to come out and say, no, you're more likely to harm somebody in your home than you are to deter crime or protect somebody. After all, you can't really use a gun against somebody breaking into a house if people break into houses usually when people aren't home, because that's really what burglars try to do. And that's something that people are doing too much today. Say, no, I'm sure of that. I know it's a fact. Now, people on the far right and people who are gun nuts are not going to sit there and say, oh, those are facts I was unaware of. People who are committed to guns and have been brainwashed into it, they have been, aren't going to let up on their views very easily. But it's people who have a good faith belief that they need a gun to protect themselves or their family that will look at the facts. And we need to have those facts, because until now, the gun manufacturers have been running this show. Now, I'm going to say something that sounds paranoid. It's not. Testimony in Congress has established, and patterns of money being donated show that Russia backs the NRA. They even had one of their people over here working as an agent with the NRA. Of course, their main agent was in the Oval Office from 2017 to 2021. That's beside the point. We have to realize that there are forces in this country that want to sow chaos. And if they do that, they win, because we won't be able to function as a country. Now, Tuesday, if you haven't voted yet, you need to be very careful in considering the person or persons for whom you're going to vote. If you're going to vote for somebody who wants guns just because guns, or they will oppose everything They're the party of no. That's nihilism. It's a belief in nothing. If you look at this iteration of the Republican Party today, it believes in nothing. It doesn't advance anything that's going to resolve anything. Trump had a majority in both houses when he took office in 2017. They didn't do anything to Obamacare. They didn't do anything except pass off tax savings to rich buddies. Now, if you want to look at somebody who's proposing something, who's offering to actually do something, that's the important thing to consider when you're voting for somebody for political office. I believe I support things to try and address problems here. Certainly on guns, I believe we have to do more studies so that people understand more that guns can be more hazardous to their health and the health of loved ones than they are of a benefit. But if you're wanting to vote for somebody because they're going to show them libs, that's nihilism. That doesn't do anything. So think carefully before if you haven't voted yet, think carefully before Tuesday. I'm Mark Small. I'm Republican nominee for Indiana House District 86 here in Indiana. I approve of this message. Hell, I made it. Peace, man.